Police confiscate hundreds of betel nut bags following a tip-off. Police Commissioner outlines plans for the constabulary. And late teenager electrocuted from a fallen power line.
This is National EMTV News with Tokana Hasavi.
Good evening and welcome to another working week. NCD police confiscated over 300 bags this morning that were bound for Port Moresby as police commenced their pre-Pacific Games operations. Surrounding villages and settlements within NCD were warned not to smuggle betel nut or sell unlicensed liquor. This morning, police acted on a tip-off and raided Gabi village, a known hotspot for betel nut smuggling.
The dawn raid was carried out by NCD police at 3 a.m. Police entered the village and confiscated nearly 8,000 bags of betel nut with a street value of over 100,000 kina. 7 police vehicles were loaded with betel nut bags. The villagers woke up surprised, and as police withdrew from Gabi village, local opportunists retaliated. They threw stones at one police vehicle, resulting in police officers open fire before retreating.
Gas! Withdraw! Withdraw, let's go!
The bags were unloaded at the Borgo police station. NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Andy Bauer says police will continue to raid hot spots for betel nut.
Betel nut has been banned in the city and we need to uphold the ban in itself. There are also other areas apart from Gabi village that we will be targeting. We commenced our pre-games police operation last week Friday, and part of the pre-games operations is also targeting betel nut sales.
The Metropolitan Superintendent wants people selling liquor in settlements to stop.
We have the NCDC through Liquor Licensing Board have imposed a liquor ban in all the settlement areas. And in fact, all the settlement areas have no licenses. I am also a member of the NCDC Liquor Licensing Board, and according to the records that we have, none of the settlement areas in Port Moresby have proper liquor trading licenses.
At midday, the bags were transported and disposed at sea on board a PNG Defence Force vessel. Last Friday, confiscated betel nut bags were set on fire by police. As police commences its operations before the 2015 Pacific Games, they are appealing to NCD residents to help make the city welcoming for visitors. Quinten Alomp, National EMTV News.
A teenage boy was electrocuted last night at Lay's 4 Mile area from an exposed power line after it broke off from a street power pole. A witness says the boy was killed instantly after he touched a wire fence with current running through it. This morning, MTV's Bethany Harriman talked to the boy's grieving mother at home.
The teenage boy, identified as Andrew Bill from Mumang in the Bulolo district, was out with his friends at this coffee shop when he was electrocuted. A power line broke off from the main pole during last night's heavy downpour and fell onto this fence at around 7 p.m. Electricity was traveling through the fence when Andrew touched it. Elijah Salo, a friend of the young man, was still in shock when we spoke to him this morning. He said after checking Andrew's pulse, they rushed him to the hospital. Doctors at the Angao Memorial Hospital declared the boy dead on arrival. His body was then taken to his home deep in the 4 Mile area, where relatives and friends grieved. His mother was told this morning of the accident by friends. She rushed to the hospital and found his son had already died. The power poles in the area are very old. Some, like this one, just 20 meters from where the boy was killed, has become a death trap and need replacing.
Please power something you block come straight in. Me talking more now. Only no come.
The 4 Mile area is known for its high crime rate and service delivery is quite slow. Members of the boy's family and a community leader met with Lay's PNG Power top management this morning, demanding action and expressed disappointment over the state of 4 Mile's power poles.
People belonging Benatia. People belonging to Seven. In the floor, people are fixing them. People come now. This monkey, young plan, monkey, I'm losing light now.
Lay's PNG Power management are now working on a report to send to headquarters in Port Moresby.
People office or people come house cry people. Reports are also.
For the head of insurance to decide appropriate actions to take.
Dai kama finish, people accept him, people sorry people one by one people sorry people. But larim alay mo work man lo pensi po gonsa na people restore supply because all the man now only off na stop.
Andrew's electrocution comes as a shock for the 4 Mile community. PNG Power has been blamed for the teenager's electrocution. Family members and community leaders are waiting for a response from the state-owned entity for funeral and burial costs. Now, family members haven't ruled out the possibility of a court case against the state-owned entity if they don't get the response they're looking for. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Lay.
The counting for the Pomio by-election has gone into its second day with no major issues uncounted. The counting began at 7 p.m. last night and is expected to be completed in the next 9 days. Counting at the Vunapope Hall in Kokopo remained calm as police maintained watch over the venue. MTV's Edwin Fidelis reports from Kokopo.
The counting for the Pomio by-election began last night with no hint of trouble. Now the counting has gone into its third progressive count as of 1 p.m. this afternoon, with 30 more ballot boxes to count over the next 9 days.
We are doing box number 3. That's for Siniwit. We have 33 boxes. We started at between 7 and 8 p.m. last night, and we counted up till 1:30 in the morning because we are using the manual and the electronic verification system at the same time.
The counting venue at Vunapope in Kokopo remained calm and orderly under close police surveillance. Outside the hall, supporters are kept at bay. Only 4 scrutineers for each candidate were allowed into the counting hall.
Candidate leading is Levi S. Orong. Levi S. Orong, and the runner is Francisco Emandre. That's after the count 1 and 2.
17 candidates have contested for the by-election, including the former MP, Francisco Emandre, who has been leading in the preliminary counts that started last night. The Pomio open seat was left vacant after the then MP, Paul Tienston, was charged, jailed and dismissed from office over misappropriation of public money. No counting disputes have yet been raised by the scrutineers, who have remained skeptical since last night when the counting began. But it's too early to say that. The counting officials say over the counting period, things might turn out differently. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Well, after 40 years of independence, almost 3/4 of the population in Kambia in the South Wagi electorate of Jiwaka province is yet to enjoy the privileges of Western culture. Kambia is seeing change, but the change is slow due to its remoteness. Kambia's elected Member of Parliament, Komunjo Koim, has visited Kambia 8 times since entering Parliament. For every visit, he has announced projects for Kambia. The access road was the largest project announced, and work is progressing. In the recent visit, several projects were announced, including human resource for Kambia, market access for Kambia coffee, and central location for service delivery. MTV's Michelle Amba was part of a team that traveled to remote Kambia last week, and she files tonight's MTV News special report.
Kambia makes the last part in the name Jiwaka, the first 2 Jimmy and Wagi. Jiwaka province is made up of these 3 distinct groups of people. Tucked away behind the Kumba Range is Kambia, home to less than 4,000 people who speak the Malpa language. Kambia shares borders with Simbu and Western Highlands. The visit last Friday was to El Willier, one of the 3 lower secondary schools in Kambia. For the people, it was the first time for a member of parliament to visit this part of Kambia. It was truly a remarkable experience, seeing mothers crying openly, expressing their gratitude for the visitors. For the people of Kambia, access to the outside is not the only problem. There are many more challenges which they face, like shortage of public servants, especially teachers and health workers. Public servants have left because they cannot cope with life.
Health one time education. Na aussiglein al fashion is la problem en mibla tu mibla fashion. Na mibla teacher mibla staff. Every year we are flying in by the education department. We fly in, and at the end of the year they fly us out. But lo normal time number we got some needs, we are running out of soap or oil or salt, all these things, all basic needs. We have to travel this mountain. There is no other road we will go. It's very hard. That's why posting time, plenty of teachers like Monto, we should have 10 teachers in Monto. Monto is a big school, primary school. But because of some black and reason or some road connect, when teachers they are posted, they came here, all looking, na road good plan, condition awesome. Something we all expecting, let me not stop, Lokambia, they leave us.
This will be addressed next year through an arrangement where 4 grade 10 dropouts from each of the council wards will be selected to undergo teacher and community health worker training. This will be funded by the district's education grants. The member also announced the arrangement to help transport Kambia coffee to the markets. This arrangement will be implemented by the Coffee Industry Corporation and the Australian government's Strong in People, Strong in Nation project.
Coffee. By this plan money, me like him as much as possible, only can buy him coffee. Now time only buy him, only keep him on central location. Now me by talk when them CIC number me play co-funding. Long kiss him coffee long all come back commercial. Now me put him through the factory. Now only can sell him. So by that, all by making money, by get money lo by back loan blow all. Now too you get money blow look out your family blow.
For the first time, they can have access to National Development Bank loans through the credit scheme. The first 40 from Kambia have taken out 40,000 kina under the credit scheme. NDB was part of the team in Kambia to carry out awareness on the importance of the credit scheme. Anglim South Wagi administration has put 1 million kina for the first rollout of the scheme. The second phase will begin once repayments for the first phase are complete. That particular trip was not important only because it was the first for a sitting member to visit. However, it was even special because the member and his delegation spent the night in Kambia, the first that has ever happened. And before leaving the next day, a satellite dish and monitors plus solar chargers were delivered. For the first time, people can watch television in Kambia. Chartering a chopper to Kambia and back is a costly exercise. However, the member says it is for the good of these people who have missed out for the last 40 years.
These are real things, we have to take it. So me, Ambas, when the challenge is before me, I can't retreat, I can't surrender. It's head on. So full steam will make sure, and I will make sure that the Kambia roads are connected.
Michelle Amba, National EMTV News.
Police Commissioner Gary Bucky's operational plans. I'll bring you that story plus more after the break. Stay with us. Good to have you back with National EMTV News. Reappointed Police Commissioner Gary Bucky today outlined his operational plans for the constabulary to the media. The 2 main areas he will be looking at providing leadership are discipline, command and control, and the other is reformation, restructuring and capacity building. MTV's Vasinatiyama has this report.
A determined Commissioner Baki condemned the breakdown in supervision, command and control at all levels of the constabulary. He wants to reform the 61 recommendations of the police review report, in which the police modernization program is one of them. The 4 major areas that needs to be addressed are communications, forensic, police intelligence, and upgrading of Bomana Police College. He will also revisit the PNG Australia Policing Partnership to make sure the partnership is ideal to the law and order issues PNG is currently facing.
On the deployment of Australian Federal Police in Papua New Guinea, I will be revisiting the MOU and proposing to the government a way forward. The question has to be asked is the partnership in its current form ideal to our current situation, or does it need improvement?
Starting next week, new directives for transfers of duties will be issued, and all petrol police vehicles will be repainted to the original police blue, and all tinted glasses will be removed. Under his watch, there will be zero tolerance of ill-disciplined actions by police, accountability of commanders, fit and proper persons in the force. As part of the discipline, command and control process, there will be consistency in the types of uniforms worn by police. The ceremonial dress will be worn by all the members of the constabulary, while field uniforms will only be worn by the Special Services Division or the mobile squads and will be removed from everyday policing.
So there will be only 3 types of uniform that I will allow in the constabulary. 3. Number 1, which will be worn by all members, ceremonial dress which will be introduced, and a field uniform, and thirdly, for field operations. No field uniform will be worn by any members of the police anymore. No field uniform. I must stress that. Which means that commanders will have a responsibility to ensure that their men turn out in the appropriate uniform that will allow them to perform their functions.
Baki assured the public that all ongoing major police investigations will be completed without further delay and the findings will be made public. For the HP investigation, police outside of Port Moresby will re-investigate the matter before referring it to a coronial inquest. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary will see the creation of additional commands. Police Commissioner Gary Baki announced this today, saying the new commands will increase police presence in the Momase and Highlands regions. Baki said the National Capital District Metropolitan Command will also be separated from the Central Command.
The Highlands region will be split into 2 commands. One will be regional command, which will Eastern Regional Command, which will cover Western Islands, Jiwaka, Eastern Islands, Simbu, and Simbu. The second one will be the Western Regional Commands, which will be taking care of Hela, Southern Islands, and Enga Province. There will be 2 assistant commissioners based in those locations. Momase will also be split into 2 commands to take on border as a new command, reintroduced, which also will include Western Province, East and West Pacific provinces.
Families and EMTV Vocal Fusion fans in the autonomous region of Bougainville staged a rousing welcome home for Season 2 winner Maurice Opeti in style and colour. The vocalist was given a protocol welcome in Buka by the autonomous Bougainville government officials.
The life of a celebrity began at Jackson's Airport, Port Moresby, with public paparazzi rushing to capture memories with the vocalist, children, man, women, and even airline workers. Banners at the Buka Airport last Friday welcoming Maurice Opeti back on home soil were painted with "I love Buka." He was given VIP treatment by the autonomous Bougainville government officials, a tour from the airport to Buka town, through the passage, Kokopau, then to Tinputs. The excitement was seen at Tinputs District Administration, Bougainville's own best vocalist. Maurice belted several songs, his own top 10, Michael Lansturok, Sleeping Child.
People something to them. Some God giving me talent. Talent play MSW, big money game. Suppose you driver, you want a new fisherman. You come up, you want to get man, now you stop him. Big money game you. It's like talent.
And I Love Boca still remains in the hearts of Bougainvilleans.
You've done us Bougainvilleans proud, so I mean it's an opportunity that you've set up for our younger generation.
We are proud to be Bougainvilleans, and you have done well for us. And we're going to show them what music is all about, Bougainvillean style.
Mihamas Lamoris, the winning confusion.
Me proud Bougainvilleans, me proud not tired, me proud stop now, me proud long I'm not stop now yet, me proud how much not stop.
I love Buka!
MTV was acknowledged for creating the Vocal Fusion program that has promoted raw talented musicians in Papua New Guinea. Fabian Hakelitz, National MTV News.
Congratulations once again, Maurice Alpetti. Moving on, health centre kits purchased by the national government under a contract with Borneo Pacific as the supplier and distributor of medical supplies in the country have been described as a waste. Health workers of Mabudawan Rural Health Centre in South Fly District of Western Province said that the government wasted money on products that they have found ineffective once administered. Our journalist Fabian Hakelitz was on the fact-finding mission with the Special Parliamentary Committee on Public Sector Reform and Service Delivery.
During the fact-finding mission to Mabudawan Health Centre, 75 cartons of health centre kits were discovered, parked away in the storeroom and ready for shipment back to Daru. According to the two health workers working at the health centre, these two kits were brought in February and have not yet been used.
So these are 75 kits which one they brought them February month. They brought them up here.
Most of these medicines aren't needed, and with no health extension and nursing officers around, it's impossible to order dangerous drugs. These boxes aren't labeled to indicate the type of medicine inside.
We don't have labels there. We don't have labels, but they are just...
If health centers and aid posts in rural areas are consulted on type of medicines mostly needed, then this wouldn't be another systematic waste, Magao said.
Yeah, they should consider our listing.
They should consider our listing.
Drugs that we normally use in here.
Health workers called on the national government to provide quality health care to the people of this nation. Chairman of the Special Parliamentary Committee on Public Sector Reform and Service Delivery, Bira Kimisopa, said an inquiry will be conducted into the procurement of medical supplies.
It's how people getting medicine. It's how people getting the water supply that deserve electricity. They have decent teachers' housing, water tanks in the clinic, water tanks in the hospital. These are questions we ask.
Fabian Hakelitz, National MTV News.
Any issues or errors identified on the National Identification Card must be immediately reported to the Civil Registry Office. This is the call from Civil Registrar Dixon Kiragi. Once reported, it can be fixed within 24 hours.
The Civil Registrar made this appeal following an error reported by a card holder to this media, citing the missing A on his surname and 300 Guinea charge laid by the NID card team.
On my certificate, I had all the details okay, but with my NID card, I had the spelling of my surname was wrong. It was Saruf. It was supposed to be Sarufa, but at the end of the name, the A was missing.
The Civil Registrar apologized to Mr. Sarufa for the error that occurred during printing and for him to return the card so it can be replaced. Any errors found on the card must be reported to the Civil Registry Office, and if clients are unsatisfied with counter service, do request for senior officers, including himself and his deputy.
Then please see me, talk to us. We'd like to improve our services.
The card replacement fee is only 200 kina, that for those damaged, defaced, stolen or misplaced. Only in the circumstances, charges can be given. However, the card is free for 10 years and must be renewed after. As an incentive for accessibility, it's pre-registration, pre-birth certificates and pre-NID card.
No one should charge a fee.
If anybody is charging a fee, that must be immediately reported to us so that we can investigate it.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
A group of NGOs and activists fear that the state's national identification card system will not be rolled out to all parts of Papua New Guinea come 2017. They claim that many provinces are yet to register. However, monies allocated have been spent and have not been accounted for.
In a joint NGO conference this morning, NGO presidents representing registered NGO groups, including Millennium Good Governance and PNG Anti-Corruption Movement for Change, presented their views on the state's NID program. Concerns on how the budgeted 240 million kina was used to implement the project and the limited time the project team have left to register all Papua New Guineans were raised.
It's moving at a snail pace, and we have done our own investigations, and our investigations shows clearly that people in the planning department who are in charge of this project, money is going missing somewhere.
The groups also questioned the appointment of the Acting Secretary for Planning and Monitoring Department, Akawa Harry. Stephen Andambo, the Momase Regional President for Millennium Good Governance, said Ms. Harry currently holds a social works degree but is holding a position that requires an economics degree.
Same time, she has a social background, social worker background, She's a social worker graduate. She's not compatible to hold on to the position of the acting secretary.
The NGO groups are now giving the government 14 days to respond to their concerns starting today. This joint conference is the first step the NGOs are taking to voice their concerns on the issues of national interests. More issues will be discussed in the coming days.
There will be many more, and we put ministers, we put our MPs, and we put our public servants on notice.
Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
A local Manus woman says current developments on the island present business opportunities for Manusians. She says if people are disciplined, anyone can be successful in running small businesses. Dorothy Kuso expressed this after completing a 4-month business workshop in Manus.
Dorothy Kuso is illiterate. She never got the chance to a formal education. But now she runs a lodge in Lorengau town and is in the process of building a new hotel right in the town center. She says the regional processing center has given locals the opportunity to take part in growing the local economy. Dorothy was a participant of the recent business workshop held in Manus. She started a business without having proper skills and knowledge, but she has gained a lot after completing the 4-month workshop with the help of a daughter. But establishing and managing a business in Manus has many unique challenges.
Business was never been our culture also. Lo pasin lo Manus, we are too friendly, and the one-talk system here is very strong. That you one man, you serve along all policies, all guidelines lo business, you become up in one something. Suppose no God, and by no God.
Ken Kuso, Dorothy's husband, says business opportunities have pushed locals to convert private residences to lodges.
Opportunity, Mr. All get the money go to hospitality business. Private house or convert me go legally Salim or money can come sleep.
And with the ongoing aid and partnership agreement between Australia, the PNG government and Manus provincial government, Manusians must drive the agenda of business while opportunities are given. Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
Regao district in the central province is getting ready for developments within the district capital, Kwikila Station. Local level government's leaders, led by Rigo Central President Freddie Silona, saw the need to put their office in order to enable development to reach the people. The initiative saw the reopening of the District Council chamber on Friday. The event lured Central Governor Kila Hauda and Rigo MP Anopala.
Kwikila Station in the Rigo district of Central Province was full of activity on Friday as the rural LLG staged the recommissioning of the district's council chamber. Central Governor Kila Hauda and Rigo MP Anopala officiated at the ceremony, which signified a new chapter for the 3 LLGs in the district. During the speeches, Governor Hauda said the reopening of the chamber was a result of commitment to work together for the people.
When we come to the third level government, this is the house that we're going to make important decisions.
Local member Anopala said changes were being done at the national level to ensure effective implementation of government policy on the ground. One of those changes was the creation of the Rigo District Authority to replace the JDP.
Chamber is very important because it is a place where the people's voices will be heard. It is the place where the councillors' voices will be heard. It is the symbol of democracy.
Mr. Pala also announced that the district is in for good change in the near future, with plans already underway to fix up the Kwikila Market and the Ring Road. The announcement was welcome news for Rigo Central LLG President Freddie Silona.
And I believe for us to be part of that development, we must set a pace, which we have to have a base to deliver the service. And that's how I came up with this initiative to actually put my office in order so that we have a place where we have meetings and pass rules and laws and whatever, so that the development pass through.
Mr. Pala said the chamber is a step forward when it comes to discussions to advance the cause of the people of Rigo. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
And now we take a look at the finance news. The Kina closed unchanged at $0.3675 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our Kina was fetching $0.36, 0.4571 Australian dollars, 0.3231 euro, and 43.32 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, cocoa, and copra all closed the day lower. Palm oil, crude oil also closed lower, while copper closed the day higher. And finally, on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 85 points lower, the ASX closed at 14 points lower, and the All Ordinaries closed at 13 points lower as well. You're watching National EMTV News tonight. Amongst stories coming up after the break, KK Kingston hands over Trukai Fun Run t-shirts to the Red Cross Special Education Resource Centre at Hohola. Details of that plus more when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has pledged 1.2 billion kina towards natural disaster relief and climate change in the Pacific. Prime Minister Abe made the announcement on Saturday in Japan, just one day into the 7th Pacific Islands Leaders Meeting, also known as Palm 7. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill also attended the meeting. MTV's Alana Lay has this report.
Making reference to Japan's turbulent maritime ties with China, Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said Pacific relations are to be more subdued.
Our relations have nothing to do with one where there are shows of power or threats to use power. That is the established order of what it means to be a citizen of the Pacific Ocean.
Addressing 16 Pacific Island member nations, Prime Minister Abe called for a commitment in keeping maritime order in line with international law and a community effort in making the Pacific Ocean more prosperous under the Palm leaders' new Fukushima Iwaki Declaration. The relief funds exceed Japan's 8.9 million kina pledge at the 2012 Palm Summit.
In order to develop the strength to combat climate change and face disasters, we offer in assistance over 55 billion yen, over the next 3 years until the next Palm 8.
Alana Lay, EMTV World News.
Now to a report to get us to Trukai Sports tonight. KK Kingston Limited is continuing its community outreach effort, targeting several non-profit organizations here in Port Moresby. This morning, the company handed over 200 Trukai Fun Run t-shirts to the Red Cross Special Education Resource Centre at Hohola to assist them with raising funds for the centre's operations.
Hidden away in a residential suburb of Hohola, the Red Cross Special Education Resource Centre is difficult to locate if one does not know its location. The Centre for Special Education comprises of over 60 students living with disabilities and managed by a mere staff ceiling of 13 teachers and helpers. This morning, there were smiles all around as the KK Kingston marketing team distributed boxes of Trukai Fun Run t-shirts to the excited students who were regular participants of the annual event. KK Kingston, in handing over the Trukai merchandise, says the company has secured 12,000 kina worth of t-shirts, 2,000 kina worth of which will be donated to the school.
Not many people know this, but the PNG Red Cross Society, they've had a long history in this country. They've been in this country for well over 37 years. They have 13 branches nationwide, and the vital work they do and continue to do, especially in terms of providing humanitarian support and assistance, is very important.
Senior Inclusive Resource Officer Christine Kenya, who has been attached to the Learning Centre for over 10 years, says the t-shirts will enable the students to participate, while the rest will be sold to raise funds for the centre. Mrs. Kenya says the school faces many limitations, one of which is the infrastructure, which hasn't seen much development lately. Along with limited resources, the staffs have their hands full with providing daily lessons for students through their programs, which includes early intervention, senior and junior multi-grade classes, primary integration and job placements.
It comes at the right time when we need it, and normally when the Fun Run t-shirt, the Trukai Rice, we have it annually. And when it comes, we have different people. We have had the water board, we have had the gaming board, we have had a lot of other companies that came, and it's the first time that the KK Kingston came to our aid, and with the t-shirts we are so happy that they're able to take us on board and give us those t-shirts to raise funds and raise money for our school.
Vanessa Knight, National EMTV News.
We'll have Trukai Sports on the other side of these short messages. Stay tuned for that.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. 3 senior karate students made history yesterday by becoming the first to grade for Shodan, the first degree black belt in the Shotokan style in more than 20 years. Among the 3, Jacqueline Barney also made history, becoming the first Papua New Guinean woman graded for a black belt in Shotokan karate. The small ceremony took 4 hours under the watchful eyes of 4 senior instructors from Lae, Wau and Port Moresby.
It's been a long journey for them. The 3 senior students have been practicing karate both as a sport and as a way of life for the last 10 years. Each of them have competed in local and international competitions and have proven to be champions in their own right.
Me start training since 9 years old, coming up 21 years.
For Jacqueline Barney, Oceania silver medalist whose performance ensured PNG's qualification for the Commonwealth Games, grading for Shodan, the first degree black belt in Shotokan karate, has been a huge milestone for the young mother. Jacqueline also became the first Papua New Guinean woman to be tested for a black belt in Shotokan karate.
The grading itself, it's a milestone on its own because we have one player, Mary. Now the Mary is going to be the first black belt in the nation. For other styles, they have female black belts. But for karate alone, this will be the first female black belt, Jacqueline Barney.
For fellow students Manu Mekere and Joafo Eliuda,
Becoming the first Shotokan karate students to be graded for a first-degree black belt in 21 years is a massive achievement after 10 years of training.
Me waiting result as well. Suppose all talk by me kisim belt long by me kisim sla kala way by me grading long. If not, then I'll keep on training.
No, hot, it, good.
The lay-based club run by Sensei Rickinson McCary gave strong competition in various divisions in the PNG Games. With 3 new black belts on his staff, he sees new life in the growth of karate in Papua New Guinea.
Me like by me offload him some weight along also they have a responsibility long running class na kind of some and they qualify to run a dojo, so they deserve to have the first degree black belt. Yeah.
While they may be senior students now, a new chapter of their learning is just beginning. Scott Waide, National MTV Sports, Lae.
The PNG Weightlifting Federation announced the final selection of the competitors of the Pacific Games Senior Weightlifting Championship for men and women. The team will head down to New Caledonia and focus on training along with other 7 Noumea-based lifters. MTV's Shane Saroya has more on this report.
Over 171 weightlifters selected for the Pacific Games. Team PNG will send 19 lifters, both men and women, to Noumea for training. Paul Kofa will be in the country as the technical director this Friday. On the 29th, he will have discussion with the Games Organizing Committee about the venues, the competition stages, and the warm-up areas, as well as other support services within Sir John Guy's complex.
The team behind me will be arriving back in PNG on the 29th. Through this program, I'd like to just advise the parents, family members and friends that it will be hello and goodbye at the airport before they go to the village to continue the intensive training.
The team have other lifters in Noumea that include Stephen Curry, who is hard at training.
For granted, from Australia, New Zealand, Samoa, Nauru, Fiji, even Kiribati or Kiribati, as well as Tuvalu.
The same will apply to the 7 Noumea-based lifters. They go through the same intensive training program.
Strive and put the hard work in to achieve those visions, and through the support of Go for Gold, through the Olympic Committee and the government, we have been given funding to ensure that our athletes are prepared well.
John Dawanikura believes the team are well prepared and will not take any opposing teams for granted, but rather the team have a vision.
For the 15 lifters is 17 to 20 gold medals. That's the vision that we have. And
the board will spread the weightlifting federation across 14 provinces and use the PNG Games as the main venue to identify new talents and selection. Shane Saroya, National MTV Sports.
The PNG powerlifting team is gearing up for the 2015 Pacific Games here in Port Moresby. The team completed a 2-week training camp with an invitational competition at the High Performance Training Centre in Moresby.
Preparations for the national powerlifting team are well underway with an invitational competition yesterday. Lifters from around the country took part as preparation for the Pacific Games. Team manager for PNG Powerlifting, Phil Priestley, said the team's preparation is going well and they have been working closely with coach Scott Upson.
They're really good. I mean, a good example is one of the guys, his personal best for squat was 5 repetitions at 180 kilos. We got him the other day to 195 kilos for 5 repetitions. So that's again just identifying the athlete's potential and asking him to step up to that potential. And yeah, he's really excited and enthusiastic about his improvements since I've been here.
The competition on the weekend saw international referee Pam Katja officiate to give the lifters a feel of lifting under international competition guidelines. Gold medal prospect for the Pacific Games, Linda Paulson, has been hard at work, preparing to attend a World Championship next month in Finland before the Pacific Games.
Bami qualify logo this law na mi hama master sem bami attend in this World Championship. We look forward lo bami working good lo 2015 Pacific Games.
Come the Pacific Games in July, Team PNG Powerlifting aims to perform well on home soil and prepares to face stiff competition from Nauru. Dion Kombang, National MTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues with highlights of NRL Round 11. Stay tuned for the details.
True Kai Sports.
Good to have you back with True Kai Sports. Round 11 saw the Rabbitohs defeat the Eels 14 points to 12. The Cowboys won with 8 points over a scoreless Tigers, and the Bulldogs held off the Raiders to win 34 points to 41. Tonight we'll see the Newcastle Knights take on the Brisbane Broncos. Round 11 saw 8 teams on a bye and just 4 games, with Game 1 of State of Origin to be played on Wednesday evening.
Friday night football saw the South Sydney Rabbitohs take on the Parramatta Eels, who were desperate for a win. In a tight match played in difficult conditions, interchange forward for the Rabbits, Cameron McInnes strolled through a gap close to the line to give his team the win.
For McInnes. Wow.
The West Tigers took on the informed North Queensland Cowboys. Both teams were missing key players to the State of Origin, and it was an evenly matched contest that went right down to the wire. The only try of the match came from a rare error from Tigers fullback James Tedesco, which enabled Antonio Winterstein to score.
The ball from Leonard, on it comes, Winterstein, the ground is broken.
The Cowboys went on to win the game 8 points to 0.
Great to be back in the...
On Sunday afternoon, New South Wales State of Origin discard Josh Reynolds was the hero for the Bulldogs as they held on to defeat the Canberra Raiders 41 points to 34 in an exciting try-scoring frenzy.
Reynolds, he's over Reynolds.
Although the Raiders came back strong,
Three and gets it to Wanga. Edric Lee's on his hip. He goes himself, Wanga, and Wanga gets there. Oh, that was brilliant.
the Bulldogs were able to maintain possession of the football, which saw them cruise to victory.
Oh, and it's picked up beautifully in the slips by Pritchard. He pops it to Mbai, and Moses Mbai.
Dion Kombang, National EMTV Sports.
And that report wraps up our sports segment tonight. Coming up next, all the weather details for the next 24 hours.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in southern region. Port Moresby, brief showers expected in Karama, thundery showers for Popondetta, a shower or two developing over Alatau, and squally showers expected in Daru. Well, that's been the news, sports and weather tonight. On behalf of the news crew, I'm Tokana Hasavi. Thanks heaps for your company. You take care and stay safe. Good night.